Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whoever you are, a very warm welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda Ellis, and it is the 6th of February 2025. As I make this video, we are going to do, excuse the pun, a deep dive into the energy of Atlantis. And in particular, I am posing the question, is Atlantis rising again? This is both energetic, of course, but maybe also physical. What has prompted this video is what is happening in Santorini at the moment, a Greek island, or I think they are actually a set of islands. And I'll show you what Santorini, or part of it, looks like. Most of us will recognise the beautiful blue sea and the whitewashed buildings leading down to the sea. It is very popular. Apparently had 3.5 million visitors last year. In fact, it's been in the news because of over-tourism. And I'll come to that later because there is definitely a desire to be pulled to sacred sites at this time for all sorts of reasons, which might be totally subconscious with regards to the people that arrive at a particular place. They're going maybe because they've just seen it in a film or on Instagram, or some influencer has mentioned it, but it goes much, much deeper than that. I'm actually likening it to a video that I did years ago on the total fervour that grips some people who want to climb Everest. And it's as though Everest also, as a sacred site, just calls people. So Santorini, beautiful, popular holiday destination, but definitely also has got some issues at the moment with over-tourism, has been having a number, in fact hundreds, of earthquake tremors. I believe most of them coming up from underneath the sea. And as of yesterday, I haven't checked today, but the largest of these tremors has been 5 on the Richter scale. And the fear is that either there's going to be a much larger quake, or it might set off the volcano there. I believe there are actually 3 volcanoes, but the island was devastated in the 16th century by a huge volcanic eruption, and locals are fleeing the island because they are in fear of what may happen. And the reason why this is all linked into Atlantean energy is that one of the theories is that Santorini and that cluster of islands, that area, is potentially the epicenter of old Atlantis, or if not the epicenter, certainly a very important center. Although what I'm hearing today is it absolutely was the epicenter. And I'll come to that in a moment. Piece of information that was given to me by my crystal skull literally 5 minutes ago, which has blown my mind. But just to get us up to speed, so that's why I'm coming on to do this. What's going on in Santorini underneath the sea? Is a quake or a volcano or a tsunami, or all 3, imminent? And if so, over and above any potential loss of life, and let's hope that does not happen, sending my sympathy to anybody that actually lives there or has a business there, is there actually something happening energetically linked into bringing back the Atlantean age? Now, that doesn't mean that we revisit it in like a carbon copy blueprint of what it was, because of course many of these ancient civilizations fell because there was a golden age, but there was also an age where everything became quite corrupt and, tarnished. So we're not bringing back the tarnished age, but it is a remembrance of what was good about the Atlantean energy. The truth is that many of us hold this energy, and you're probably one of them if you've been attracted to this video. you may have always felt some connection with water in particular that goes far deeper than other people hold it. You know, it's like it's very, very sacred to you. And also the whole energy of Atlantis, you may not even remember how or why you were attracted to the stories, the myths, the legends. It's just really a deep knowingness. I will say for myself, and this might help you as well, that ever since I was a very, very small child, I have had dreams of water. And also, although I love water, I'm an absolute water baby, and I now live by the sea, absolutely adore water and that element. I am a Cancerian as well. There's also been a fear over and above the norm. And one of the stories with me is that as a young girl, I used to go and visit my grandmother who lived on the north coast of England by the sea. And as a treat, we would be taken out on a boat, out of the harbour, into the sea. And I always feared it because there was a part of the journey where you had to go around, the boat had to go around one of these large buoys that are in the sea. And it's like a big weighted thing, you know, navigation thing, I don't know, that's there in the sea. And as we approached it, I would always be filled with an absolute sense of dread, which I never could understand. It was like a primal fear that came up within me. But then as it carried on, I understood that there was a past life memory there of clinging on for dear life to some fixed structure in the sea where I was trying to save my life, basically. And I believe I drowned, but it was bringing back that memory. My youngest daughter, from a very early age, also had dreams of drowning in the sea. And indeed, very clearly remembering that I didn't save her. I saved myself, and I didn't save her, which of course now in, you know, this era and this incarnation, to hear that as a mother is awful. But I do know that I have healed that. We have healed that to a degree, because actually Sophie was born in water. So it was a perfect circle completed, really, from not valuing her life enough and saving my own skin over hers in a previous life, maybe Atlantean life. I think it probably was an Atlantean life. In this life, I then regave birth to her in the element of water. And that moment when she was just pulled up from, you know, out of me effectively, in the water to my face, and I just saw her beautiful blue eyes, will always stay with me forever. So, yeah, you may have dreams about water, good, bad, indifferent, but just this knowingness that there's something about Atlantis that has always called you. So, is this now resurfacing? And I am going to tell you, I feel with 100% conviction, yes. Does it actually mean that what is happening around Santorini, I'm hearing through this year actually, because I don't feel as though these tremors are going to stop. I feel as though I'm hearing it's going to stop tourism in its tracks. There's going to be many people that won't go there because of the fear that something might happen. So that's interesting, how Mother Earth just has this ability to regulate herself when she knows that she's maybe being disrespected and there is just overpopulation, overconsumption that is happening there. And I hope my daughter doesn't mind me saying this, but she is a real crystal child. I've got two girls, they're both amazing, but the one I'm talking about that was born in water, one of Sophie's things that she keeps going on about at the moment is overconsumption, and that we mustn't overconsume. And that definitely is a message I feel that's coming through from this younger generation. And it feels as though at the time of Atlantis, when it all started to tip into imbalance, we became more consumers, not as we are now in terms of the things that you can buy with money, but just consumption of the land. Again, this abuse of the land, this abuse of natural resources that are God-given for us to be able to enjoy, but not to abuse. Anyhow, so I'm going to tell you what's happened so far, and then we will go on, okay? And we'll just see what other information wants to come out from Spirit. The other thing to say is that, I'm no expert on Greek mythology or indeed Atlantis, but I'm hearing it's all encoded within my cells. So what Metatron is saying today is it's literally like, he's saying it's like popping a pea out of a pod. And this isn't just my remembrance, it's also your remembrance. So what is happening at the moment energetically with Santorini and that part of the world, whatever transpires, it's as though it is triggering a memory that is already stored within our DNA and our cells anyway. And it's time to remember. It's time to start talking about this. It's time to start reclaiming our gifts and our skills and our talents that may very well have been brought out to a degree, but have been latent also. So it's as though this is a time for us to be really bringing back our skills and our gifts. And it is not at all in terms of the rational mind, in terms of, okay, go and get a book and tell me how to do it. This is just as organic and natural as breathing. It's just allowing the door to open of remembrance. And I'm being told that this video is part of that. It's a portal which allows you to put your hand up and say, I think that was me as well. But yeah, there was also a myth which says that Santorini itself was created from a lump of earth that was thrown into the sea by Euphemus, Poseidon's son. So we've got all the Greek mythology linked to this, and obviously the Atlantean energy as well, because what I'm being shown that any site that we're looking at on Earth, whether it's here or anywhere else, there are layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of history, but also energy. So, there's that joke really about we have a joke here in the UK about if you keep digging far enough, you end up in Australia. But the point is that, if you keep digging or unearthing, you're going to just discover all of the ages of man and civilization. It's actually encoded everywhere. It's just that there are prime sites. And Santorini is a prime site of remembrance. That's why people go there on holiday and they come back feeling forever changed. And that may very well be in terms of I can't do the type of job I was doing before. I need to be more on, a holistic path, or it's about opening up wounds that we have, maybe grief wounds, loss wounds, also about facing, some of the blocks. So that site is a master healer, but I'm actually being shown it. I don't know if this is literal, it might just be energetic, but those of you that have ever visited Stonehenge in the UK, of course, is a very sacred site encoded with amazing magic and mysteries, etc. But it has a fence around it now to protect it from the desecration that some people will do because they are not of a frequency to even understand or respect what they're standing in front of in terms of the stones. So it feels as though Santorini is going to have a barrier around it at some point. And this isn't just blocking off streets so tourists can't get down it. I actually feel as though it could even be a natural barrier that is established at some point. And I don't know whether this is this year or whether it's 10 years in the future or 100 years hence. But it's almost as though I'm being shown, because I live by the sea, reefs, barrier reefs. And it's now I'm being shown the film Castaway, you know, with Tom Hanks. And it's that whole energy of, to get off the island, he has to somehow manage to get over that huge reef and the rocks. And if he's able to do that, and it takes all of his power and all of his strength, he's into new water and he can go home. But what I'm seeing here is it working in reverse. So it's almost as though there is some type of reef at some point in the future which is preventing people from getting in to the sacred site. And it is literally a ring of protection, which I'm seeing around it. But very much like Harry Potter and the platform, 9 3/4, or whatever it is, or which doesn't really exist, you have to believe that beyond... you just have to believe that if you keep pushing your trolley through the brick wall, you end up on the other side and you are in the land of Hogwarts. So it's that type of thing. It's like an energetic membrane that is going to be, or a physical membrane that's going to be around this place to protect it whilst it births itself. And I'm seeing now it as a birthing mother. It's as though the land there, the energy that is there, it's like a birthing mother. And I'm seeing her, it's very, very, I'm seeing it very clearly in my mind's eye. It's the stage of birth where the woman is in pain, she's standing up and the baby wants to drop. But the law of gravity is demanding that she get up from her back and stand to deliver the baby. And it's taking all of her strength to be able to get herself upright to deliver this baby. And I'm also hearing that the baby is breech. So the baby isn't coming in the way that it should be coming. It's the wrong way round. So there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of dread with what could happen, but the baby will come out. What is the baby? The baby is the return of the golden age, new earth, but we're going about it in the wrong way, and we're going to be helped, is what I'm hearing, to birth this new age. And whatever is happening at the site and around Santorini and these islands is vitally important for the rest of the world. Now, one thing that has completely and utterly blown my mind this morning is that this new crystal skull, which hasn't been in my possession that long, I picked, I still not know whether it's a him or a her. I feel it's a bit interchangeable, but I'm going to call her today, although the other day it was him. But the point is that I put my hand on her today and I heard the word Delphine very clearly. And I still haven't named this skull anything. There are different names that keep coming to me. I also heard Orpheus today, Orpheus. But then when I put my hands on the skull right before I did this video, I heard Delphine very clearly. And I thought, well, that's a pretty name. I wonder what Delphine means. And I just looked it up, and Delphine is Delphine is from the Latin Delphina, meaning woman, the navel of the earth, or the womb of Gaia. I mean, I can't believe it. So Delphine, the navel of the earth, or the womb of Gaia, home of the Pythia, high priestess and oracle of the temple of Apollo, the then most prestigious and authoritative oracle for the ancient Greeks, and among the most powerful women of the classical world from 7th century BC until the late 4th century AD. Thus, Delphine also means originally who or which pertains to the oracle, i.e., provider of insight, wise counsel, or prophetic predictions. But yes, it also means who or which pertains to the womb or the dolphin, the Greek sanctuary location taking its name from the word Delphus, womb. So, you know, I'm talking about Santorini and I'm being shown it as this birthing woman, effectively. And now I'm picking up the crystal and hearing Delphine, which is linked into the womb. So what's happening there is very, very important for the wider world. Okay, so I'll come back to the skull in a moment. Just put her there so you can see her for a little while longer before I channel again. What else have I got here? Right, another thing that's happened, this was a couple of days ago. One of you sent me a new deck of cards that you've created yourself. I'll give you a shout out. Your name is Emily Critchley. Your Creative White Rabbit, I believe, on Instagram, for example, but I'll put the lady's link below. It's a self-made deck. I get sent lots of decks, but this one caught my eye, and it's called, I think it's called the Alice in Wonderland deck or something like that anyway. Is it called the White Rabbit deck? Sorry, Emily. The White Rabbit Oracle deck, it's called. Now, the interesting thing about this is obviously the whole energy of Alice, going down and discovering something that, she thought never existed, and changing her reality and her whole perception. Before this deck arrived in my house, and this is linked into Atlantis, my daughter's got a Alice statue, and it broke in half. Now, we've heard of the expression in Alice in Wonderland about off with her head, but in here, she's broken at the solar plexus. It's broken at the stomach. Now, I will sew her together again. Not sew her, I will glue her together again. We're not going to get rid of her. But I just found it very symbolic that here we've got our statue of Alice, and she's very much in a questioning pose, a thinking pose, a pondering pose. I wonder what's down there. I wonder what I can discover about reality. What is real? What is not real? And it's like she's been cut off literally at the stomach. To me, I'll come back to the deck in a moment, this is also about cutting off the old power structures of our world. And indeed, if we go back to Atlantis, of course, and any ancient civilization, their power was cut off and that came via a demise in terms of fall of consciousness, morality, abuse of power, particularly, not just in terms of the high priests and priestesses that ruled the day, but very much the people, who also weren't abiding by the frequencies, I want to say, rather than laws of a golden age. They started to take it for granted. Anyhow, so back to the deck. I shuffled it off camera a couple of days ago, and I knew I wanted to do this video, and I thought, I don't really know if this deck is going to tell me anything about Atlantis. It is, after all, an Alice in Wonderland deck, but I was pulled to pull it, and I did, and I got two cards, and I'm going to show you them. And it was also after I was thinking to myself, all of these earth tremors around Santorini seem to be happening just after we've entered the year of the snake. In fact, it's the year of the wood snake. The Chinese New Year kicked off on the 29th of January. And these tremors have been building quickly ever since. I don't know the exact date they started. It doesn't mean it has to have started on the 29th. But remember, a bit like a full moon or a new moon, there's a shadow before and after. So it felt as though the year of the wood snake, the year of the serpent also, somehow was linked into what's going on. The first card that I pulled, I kid you not, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. It shows a snake. And I'm going to read what it says about the snake. It says it's time, and this is like a message for the collective. It's time to undergo a significant change or release of something that no longer serves you. An old paradigm no longer serves us. An old way of thinking no longer serves us. A new age has to be built. And it's as though an old civilization at its peak is coming in to help us, a bit like a guide. So it's time to undergo a significant change, releasing something that no longer serves. And this process of renewal will enhance your ability to evolve. The snake reminds you that while change can be challenging, it paves the way for personal growth and rejuvenation. So the snake, everything that I've said about the snake and the symbolism of the snake in at least 2 or 3 videos recently stands in this video. Take a look back at my previous work, particularly my video where I talk about the Chinese New Year, and also I put some information about what snake stands for in my yearly predictions for 2025. But we know that the snake is about rebirth, transformation, letting go of old skins, letting go of old identities. You see, Mother Earth is also doing that. Where she feels stuck, where she feels stagnant, where too many people have walked over her, dumping their stuff energetically or physically, without a care for maybe how she feels or what she can sustain, Mother Earth will be like the snake also, that wants to shed her old identity of what she looked like last year, 10 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. This is also, I'm hearing, linked into the pole shifts. I've done a video on pole shift. No, I don't believe it's going to happen like that overnight. It's a gradual thing that takes the poles shift over many, many years. But we're absolutely in a phase where it's happening right now. And it changes everything. So number one, the card of the snake. The other one I got is this one. It shows a toadstool. You see that? It shows a toadstool. And it says, you are in a period of change where unexpected opportunities for growth are emerging. Embrace these changes with an open mind and a sense of wonder. Even in seemingly small or unusual places, Santorini, significant growth and magic can occur, leading to new and enriching experiences. So however this plays out, and we can't be ignoring the fact that there could be earth changes that happen there again, as they have in the past, which could be traumatic. Over and above that, it's changing, it's the land wanting to change, the energy there wanting to change, but definitely something wanting to come up from the sea. Now, the other thing that I'm hearing very clearly, I'm just going to get Delphine, maybe that name's going to stick, maybe it's not, I don't know, to help me with this, is the snake led me to think about a sea serpent. And I was seeing and sensing a sea serpent that lives beneath the waters in that sea. Now, this, I don't believe is, well, I was going to say this is not physical. It's a bit like the energy of Loch Ness Monster up in Scotland. You can only see Nessie, or you can only see this sea serpent that lives around the seas of these islands in Greece if you are at a particular vibrational frequency. So if you are not, you never will see, you never will believe. But Nessie is real, I've channeled her before, and so is this sea serpent that I'm picking up around the Greek islands. Now this sea serpent in Greece, around Santorini, I'm just going to try and tune into it now and get some more information for you. I mean, it's massive. It's absolutely massive. It does look like a big serpent. It's got a very wide, long, fat body, but it is just the length of it, you know, as you would expect from a serpent or a snake being. It's got teeth. It's showing me its mouth, and you know, it's got ferocious power, basically ferocious power. I'm hearing it's a balancer. It's actually a balancer, so it's able to devour negative energy, eat up negative energy or parasitic energy. It helps to keep the seas clean there. It's not to be messed with. It can never be caught. It will always have the upper hand. And right now, it is circling round these islands. I'm actually now being shown it circling in a figure of 8 infinity sign. And there's 2 islands in particular that seem important or significant with regards to whatever is to happen, or the release of the energy of, as I say, this golden age. Okay, I'm now seeing this serpent, and it's as though it's rising from the sea, so I can see the top part of its body and its mouth. And in its mouth, it's now holding this energetic book. And this book, which feels more like an old scroll, it contains esoteric information, numbers, glyphs, hieroglyphs. It's language, but it's not language that I can read with my rational brain. We can read it, though, with our consciousness lit up, with our third eye lit up. It is the tale of what happened. It is the tale of what will be. It is the tale of our role and our responsibility. And it is shown to those who are guardians of the light. You can ask to be shown a page of this. To read the whole manuscript would blow your mind. Not many are ready for that full disclosure, but it is a privilege and a blessing to be allowed to see particular pages within it. You will all be shown different pages, is what I'm hearing straight away, because you are all meant to hold different memories and different fragments of the past, to work on rebuilding that into the golden age. So say in the golden age in Atlantis, you were a master craftsman or a master healer or a master musician or an artist or an athlete or an alchemist or a herbalist, or I don't know what the word is, but somebody who is equipped and skilled to be able to work with the animals, but not just work with the animals, be telepathic and able to communicate with the animals. Maybe you were a master gardener. That's not the right word. There's a word beginning with A, but I can't quite get it. But, working with plants and trees. Maybe you're a master of sacred geometry. Maybe you were a master of language. Maybe you were a master of listening. Maybe you were a master of diplomacy. It's as though in ancient times I'm being shown these physical dwellings, places where people would come to visit the master or mistress of the day who had specific skills. One of these skills was also the skill of prophecy and prediction, past, present and future. And people would travel to their door to be able to hear and receive not just information, but the light and the wisdom and the frequency that that person held. And then they would take that away and take it into their community, their group. You are some of these masters. You are these people who have these latent gifts. Many of you may already be working in the craft that you excelled at in ancient days. Others, but some are only working at a certain percentage. And our wish is for that voltage, that ampage within you to be highlighted more. And others of you have completely forgotten, and it's going to be a very bright switch that gets turned on and a re-remembrance of this. You do not need to travel to the islands themselves. You can travel to the island in in astral, in dream state, you can be asked to be taken there. You can also ask to be shown this sea serpent and see whether it will come to you. I'm feeling as though this sea serpent very much has the energy of, oh, this is really heavy, not heavy, it's just high frequency. This sea serpent has the energy of Merlin's dragon. So not everybody can call on that dragon. Not everybody can call on that serpent. In fact, that serpent will be deaf, dumb, and blind to those that call it who are not ready to receive its instruction and even be within its energy. So this is also linked into a prediction that I made at the start of 2025 about the year of the snake, the wood snake, seeing a rise in Kundalini awakenings across our globe. So that is also linked to this. It's as though this sea serpent is a teacher that can help to balance Kundalini as it rises and help you to master it and tap into its strength and its ability to transform your life. I'm just going to have to put this skull down for one moment. I'm just going to put you over there for one moment. I'm going to have some water. Hold on, guys. You are the oracle. I'm feeling the oracle. Now, don't get confused. I'm not saying one person is the oracle. Many of us are the oracle, but what I'm being shown is almost like a beautiful silk bag, and within the silk bag are these crystal coins. Oh, beautiful. Oh, I'd love a crystal coin. It's a crystal coin. So it's not a mucky old metal coin, it's a crystal coin. And you put your hand in and you pick one up, and that contains the information and the wisdom that you are the oracle on, that you do have something very, very important to deliver to the world and talk about or say or demonstrate or do. But that doesn't mean that other people don't have another reflection of that thing. But it's as though there's something very unique. There's some very unique codes that some of us are holding, and the world needs to hear them. But the world needs to hear them together. So I'm often shown this energy by Metatron as well, the energy of a symphony. A symphony is amazing because it contains all the different notes and the chords and the highs and the lows and the silences and then the crescendos. For the symphony to build, it needs all the notes. So you are one of the notes. That's really what I'm trying to say. You're one of the notes. But this note, it's more than a note. It contains... I've got Archangel Sandalphon coming in now. It's as though he's saying within one single note... I'm struggling a bit because I'm not a musician. In this lifetime, he's saying you're not. Okay. He's saying within one note, you could spend a lifetime just really trying to understand what A sounds like, okay, what the tone A sounds like, what B sounds like, what C sounds like, that we have only been able to hear to the degree that we're able to hear. That if you strike a triangle or a gong or a drum or a crystal bowl, you hear it, and then of course the sound ripples a little bit and then it stops and you can't hear it anymore. But he's saying that sound just carries on and carries on and carries on, and it reverberates, and then I'm just being shown this loop, this beautiful loop back, because energy never dies. So the sound, and this includes our voice, reverberates across the ages, he's saying. A note reverberates across the ages. Okay. Right, where do we go now then? So the other thing I want to say here, I am going to pull some cards and I'll go back to my crystal in a moment. I just need to pause it because it's such a high frequency. I just need to ground myself. I just want to show you another card. So I have got a, what is it called? A mermaid tarot. I thought a mermaid tarot might be quite good to dip into, linked into Atlantis. And I was shuffling it this morning. I'll shuffle again in a moment, see what else we get. But one card just totally flipped out of the deck. And it's this one. It's the Two of Swords. And I want to read you the message that goes with the Two of Swords from this particular deck, because it's different from any other tarot deck. So it's about sparring. Okay, so here we can see they're sparring. They've both got their sword. They're sparring with each other. One, I believe, is a merman. Okay, so a mermaid, merman, and one is a mere mortal. So it says sparring is not only a good way to brush up on your technique, but it's also a pretty good workout. There is a level of skill, order, and regimentation regarding sparring. Our strapping merman is helping his landlocked friend move his body while also moving his mind. By teaching the merman about swordsmanship, he is also allowing a new perspective to enter his reality. What may seem natural and necessary to the human male is strange and dangerous to the merman. Yet despite their differences, they both see the benefits sparring creates. This is so much tied into my last videos that I've been making recently. Even the one about listening skills, answering my critics I called it, listening skills, the importance of listening. I talked in that about the fact that we have to be mentally flexible as well as physically flexible. Physically flexible. Flexibility, adaptability. At times when new ages are being birthed, okay, we cannot be rigid. We have to be agile. So I love the fact that this card here, and of course the Two of Swords traditionally is always a crossroads moment as well. What are we going to do? Are we just going to stay rigid? I am right, you are wrong. This is the way the world is. This is the way the world is not. Or are we going to be flexible? And the only way we can do that actually is to also spar with each other. Now, sparring, this is like it's like fencing. It's a noble sport. It's a noble sport. It never hurts. You never pierce another with the sword. You never hurt or maim another. It's to do with, but it's very much to do with respecting each other as well. I think there's something so important here. And it's as though this Atlantean energy, this Atlantean remembrance, is saying, put it this way, that this golden age that wants to come back and the remembrance of all that is good, it can't come until we get more flexible and adaptable and able to dance with each other to a degree. It's this energy of dancing with each other rather than just the total polarization and separation and division that goes on, understanding that both need each other basically. You can't be fit unless you've got something to spar against, for example. When I first saw this card, I was also thinking about the energy of light and dark, the battle between good and evil. And that's very true as well. In all civilizations, there's been that battle. Okay, so let me just pull another two cards linked into Santorini and the energy of Atlantis that exists there, that is contracting. Literally, it's like Mother Earth is having these contractions, wanting to bring it back. It's almost like, I have said this years ago, I was seeing land masses coming back into view that we haven't seen for thousands of years or centuries. Hawaii as well. This is also relevant to Hawaii. New land masses coming up. But I feel also as though there's going to be new land masses arising around the Greek islands as well. We've got the High Priestess on the bottom of the deck. And that's a really interesting card. I'll show it again to you in a moment. Let me just see what I can see on it. So number one, she's conjuring something up. on a moon, green energy. It reminds me of that character in Merlin, you know, the TV series Merlin that I was going on about a few years ago. What was the I hate using terms like baddie, but what was the, hold on, I'm gonna have to pause the camera. The Arthur Morrigan, was it Morrigan? Morrigan. Yeah, I think it was Morrigan. Let me just double check this. Merlin. Morgana Pendragon, that's right. Now, you know, whether she was wrongly portrayed in that TV series or not doesn't really matter for what I'm about to say. It's more that I'm seeing her in my mind's eye. Morgana. Yeah, she was the one who was always trying to create havoc, you know? And there was a scene, I'm pretty sure, where she was conjuring something up in the dark. So what we've got going on here is, as the golden age is trying to contract and come back online, that's really what I'm saying, it's coming back online. The darkness is putting up a good fight as well. Let me have one more card. So we've got the High Priestess, the Two of Swords, Santorini. We've got the Nine of Wands. We've got the energy of death as well. And then we've got the Nine of Cups and the Queen of Wands. Right. And then we've got the Four of Wands. And then we've got the Ten of Pentacles. Right, okay. And then we've got the Hanged Man. Oh, we could just keep going on. Then we've got the Chariot. Right, okay. Let me show you what we've got here. Right. So I definitely feel as though there's a, you know, for light to want to be rebirthed again on this planet in a huge, big way, and the remembrance of that light that you actually hold. It's like we've been playing with a quotient of light, but the full extent of light that wants to come back into the world and within you is so massive. It will blow a lot of people's circuits, but we'll be taught how to integrate it. Have no fear about that. The snake energy will help us with that. But we've also got the Nine of Wands. I want to just show you. See, there's a lot of volcano energy here. So we've got the volcano there, Nine of Wands. We've got death. We've got the Nine of Cups. We've also got, well, there's two other cards here with volcanoes. Yeah, we've got that one there, Four of Wands. We've got the Queen of Wands. Takes me to Hawaii. Is it Pele? I'm not well versed on my volcano fire goddesses, but somebody else can help me out in the comments. This is all volcano energy. Look at it. So this volcano, there is definitely potential for the volcano to blow, basically. Well, it's interesting. You see, in one card, the volcano is dormant. You see that? On this card, it's blowing. But we have got the energy of death. I'll show you this card, this death card, because it's really interesting. I love the way, those of you that work with tarot, always trust the decks that you're called to work with. Because I've got a lot of decks, and I've also got a couple of decks that are themed around water and tarot. But it was this deck that had to be used in this video, and I'm now understanding it because I didn't realize it had all these references to volcanoes, which is relevant for Santorini, but also the death card here. I'll show you in a moment, but it's linked into pollution in the sea. Look at that. It's got somebody rescuing a bird, and it's covered with oil or contamination, pollution. It's being pulled up onto the boat. It's got an oil rig in the background, and it's got these angels. They almost feel like angels in white underneath the sea, pulling up these polluted animals. So I'm hearing this is also linked into death of the ecosystem. I mean, the seas look beautiful there. I've never been. But maybe we're on a timeline at the moment that unless Mother Earth can protect herself there and do something to cleanse and purge, excuse me, I've got a little bit of a cold, then the creatures in the sea are struggling. It's like the ecosystem is struggling. You know, the bottom of this boat, it's not very nice, but it looks like it's dripping with blood, you know, and there's all the fish underneath. It's all contaminated. Death. Can't carry on. So the volcano somehow seems to be watching what is happening upon her land. And what she wants, what Mother Earth wants, is the Hanged Man, which is a change and a shift in consciousness. Something has to give for us to be able to get to the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles could very well be the golden age. There's everybody there around the table. They're all fed. They're all watered. It's a table of abundance. It's also a table where the ancestors are. I mean, look at that card. That is so beautiful. Thinking about Atlantis. Can you see that? We've got all of the ancestors in the back. Spirit figures in the back. We've also got youngsters, you know, we've got, it's also very, I think there is a young boy there. It's very feminine. It's a very feminine energy though, this Ten of Pentacles. So the Atlantean energy as well is wanting to try to birth back the feminine age, which has never actually existed upon this planet, is what I'm hearing. But that's been mankind's choice, that the feminine has been subverted and disrespected. And I mean, look at this card, Queen of Wands. This is feminine energy coming back online. And when I say online, I'm not just talking about the internet, I'm talking about energetically, it becomes the modus operandi, is that the right word? Probably not. Something like that. I'm hearing Latin, although I can't speak Latin. Modus operandi, the operating system, you know, the, let me look up what it is. What am I trying to say? Modus operandi. Excuse the terrible pronunciation. Modus operandi. Oh, I was right. A particular way or method of doing something. Okay. You see, isn't this terrible? I'm talking about this in terms of a beautiful thing, that the way of the world basically becomes more feminine, you know, including men who step more into their feminine energy, which is about receptivity, generosity, love, giving, receiving, you know, the maternal energy, the love, basically. But the definition here, modus operandi, is the example that they give, a particular way or method of doing something. Every killer has his own special modus operandi. You know, it always has to be negative, doesn't it? This is the whole way that our world has operated up to now. Let's go to the lowest common denominator. No, let's go to the highest one. What is the modus operandi going to be of the new earth? And it's going to be unity, inclusivity, respect, tolerance, Christ consciousness, heart-centered consciousness, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be the energy of love. So I've got the Nine of Cups as well, came out as well. Okay, how are we doing for time? 53 minutes. Right. I will finish in a moment. We'll finish with the skull, but let me just see anything else I had in my notes to say. I'm going to have to pause the camera to blow my nose. Hold on. Are you still there? Excellent. Right. I haven't got a cold, actually. It feels like it's a clearing. That's what it feels like. I just feel like I'm clearing something. Right. Okay. So we'll bring the skull back. The other thing I wanted to say, just in terms of whether you are resonating, if you're still watching, I'm sure you have, with having had an Atlantean life. not just the love of water, but there's also crystals, of course, and metals that can take us there and connect us there. I've noticed a love of silver in particular. I want to say silver over gold. Gold, to me, takes me more to an ancient Egyptian lifetime. Silver takes me more to an Atlantean lifetime. Larimar, I'm wearing Larimar. Larimar, turquoise, fluorite, feel very good crystals to connect to an Atlantean lifetime. I'm also hearing pearls as well. I would just like to add as well that to try to access the Atlantean remembrance within yourself, of course, not just colours, crystals, but I also want to just mention our water elemental spray as well. You don't have to get this, but we have made it, and it's been part of our range for a number of years now. And this is the colour of it, which looks very fitting, does it not, for this topic we're discussing. It's water element, and it says flow. It helps you to get in touch with the waters within your body, because the waters within our body also hold the memory. It's not just within the cells, it's not just within our DNA, it's within the waters of our body. So let's just use this water element and just see if any other information comes through. So this is how you would use it. You spray it around you and you allow your aura to become filled with this beautiful colour. It's very Atlantean. It's just a gorgeous colour. So just imagine your aura now being filled with that energy. And as it's filled with this beautiful Atlantean blue light, you give permission for remembrance of all that you have been in that lifetime, what you were, what you stood for, the qualities you embodied, the frequency you held, and for the best parts of that to be offered an opportunity to come back online within you, in the time that is right for you, in the way that is right for you. And I'm being shown it's a bit like a sort of like a gentle wake-up call. It's like an alarm just gently going off. This colour coming into your aura is just reminding your physical body, remember when, remember when, remember when, remember when you could, remember when you did, remember when you were. And if it's relevant to this time and this age and your current contracts and why you are here, opening the door and allowing that remembrance in. Okay. Also, those of you that do have this spray, it might be nice to, I don't know, make a little altar or a little grid, putting it onto the altar with some shells, I don't know, photograph of a dolphin or picture of a dolphin. Those of you that have got water themed oracle cards or tarot decks, maybe putting one of those cards. Those of you that have got my Christ Consciousness deck or my Metatron deck, there are quite a few different depictions of water within that. And in fact, the one that I'm being told to show you, although I'm not dictating how to do it because it's for you to discover your own connection with this watery remembrance of Atlantean days, but the one I'm being shown is from the Christ Consciousness deck. Let's just, yeah, this one feels beautiful to put beside it as well, because it asks the question, what would love do? What would love do? And, you know, during these ancient days, that's what we lived by. That's what we're moving back towards. And that's what we need to become for our world. So, okay, let's just end then. I'm going to go back to this skull and Delphine and see if there's anything else that wants to come up in this video today. So I'm hearing it's important to digest the information that's already been given, that we will continue to carry on giving you information in digestible chunks, as it were. so that you can fully integrate it. To carry on watching what is happening around Santorini and those islands. To notice signs that you are given linking into Atlantis, yes. The colours that you have just been given, the blues, the silvers. The Greek islands also. Greek culture also. I've definitely been taken to Athens as well, as another portal. The Acropolis. Remember what I said about all places on our earth, whether it's the Acropolis, whether it's Santorini, whether it's Stonehenge, etc. It's as though, as a species, we can't help but just identify it with one era or one thing, whereas actually there's layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. I'm also being taken to Ayers Rock, Uluru, and again, however that is identified and considered is true, but there are also other dimensions and realities there as well, as there are everywhere. To travel to sacred sites within your dream state and astral, you can ask to be taken there. You won't always remember, is what I'm hearing, what you dream of, but it will be shown and encoded. I'm just looking down at this skull. I know you can't see it, but it seems to be operating a bit like a crystal ball, because I'm seeing things in it. I'm seeing a horse that is actually lying. It's a horse, it's a wolf, I think, lying on its side for some reason. It's now turning into a dragon. There's lots going on in this skull. So for the people watching now, any final messages, please? To allow yourself to be loved. To allow yourself to open up to infinite love. To allow the library that exists within you to be accessed. You are the one with the key to that. To let go of how to do it and know that you know how to do it. A knowingness, a remembrance. To be beside water, to sit beside water, to receive the codes that water can give you now is important. To be at one with the water, to receive her frequencies. I'm being shown the moonlight now as well, to receive the frequencies from the moon. Okay, I'm going to pause this now because the energy is really, really strong, and I feel that's what wanted to come through today. So I will end with a card from here actually. I've just mentioned the moon, and we've got Queen of the Moon Oracle. So I did pull this off camera before I came on yesterday, I think it was, but it felt a very appropriate card. We've got a little rainbow there on the card. That's nice. And what is it? It says focus. It's the fact that it's a female energy, a feminine energy, wanting to rise through the waters, the mists. We've got the rainbow there. And she's got a butterfly on her head as well. So it's the emerging butterfly. And let's just pull one more card to go with that. And we've got peace has just fallen out. And we've got beauty as well. To be honest, I didn't even shuffle them. It just flew out. We've got peace. So we've got emerging peace, emerging beauty. But the thing with this energy as well is that in a world which is very chaotic and designed to trigger you and take you away from your centre at the moment, because change is never easy or straightforward. And old systems have to fall, and it can be difficult to witness. If you're going to put all of your attention onto that, you're not going to be able to get into this state. So it really is a case of, to access this Atlantean energy that is rising, to concentrate on beauty, to concentrate on peace, to cultivate peace in your own life, to witness and cultivate beauty in your own life. And then you can be that butterfly that is emerging through the waters in the same way that Mother Earth is bringing back the golden age online. But as I say, this is not a carbon copy blueprint of what has happened before. There will be no point in that whatsoever. It's far more to do with harnessing and getting our dormant, latent cellular memory back, so we then bring it into this age to create something different. I'm going to leave it there for today, and I will return to this topic, I am sure, very soon, sending the energy of peace to the island of Santorini. Sorry, my nose is going again. What else do I want to say? I just feel it's like a purge. It's like a purge. It's a clearing. There's a lot of water to come. I feel as though there are going to be events that play out there. So for people that live there or work there, we send you our love. Let's just pull one final card from this Alice in Wonderland deck. Okay, we've got, are you facing a major obstacle or dealing with a powerful force in your life? Approach your challenges with courage and strength. While the task may seem daunting, you have the inner resources and resilience to overcome it and emerge stronger. So, not easy to be living on this planet in some of these places where Mother Earth is needing to release and purge and shapeshift, effectively, change shape, literally change shape. New landmass coming up, other landmass going underwater, earthquake, volcano, tsunami, all of it. It's not easy for people on the earth, but it's also not easy for our mother. So we're being reminded that we do have the strength to overcome anything that is being put in our way. And it's not in our way, it's there to help shape and shift this earth to a better age to come for our children and our children's children. Lots of love, everybody. Take care. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye for now. Bye.